All right, when you end up coming to Read 180, there's a couple of things that you can do. The first one is to go into your SAM, and this is where you're going to look for your reports. So if you do your daily report, you've got things broken down. System 44, the phonics, and the reading inventory. We haven't done phonics yet, so we'll do that next. For reading, you want to go to the instructional reading planning report. And then when you run the report, you're going to see all of your students and where they're at. So you're going to see where Lexile they're at, the date they took it, their percentile rank. The big thing is if you have a triangle here, when you go down, that means they took the test less than 15 minutes. This is not necessarily the most accurate piece of information that we can have. Okay? All right, I've got everyone's information, as you can clearly see, but you're only going to have your information. All right, now the one thing about Read 180, you have to continue to go back each time. Okay, most of what you're going to be looking at is going to be in Teacher Central. So if you go to Teacher Central, this is where you can find a lot of different information. Number one, you have your teacher tools, which is a big part. You have your data dashboard. You have your bookshelf, your resources, and then your teach button. You also, when you go down, you have all of these extra things that you can look at. Reading, just how to review the report. If you have any problems with your program, you can do product support. I can tell you they're pretty good at getting back to you right away. All right. If you want to teach, you hit the teach button. This is going to have your teacher's manual there, and it's going to have the book that the kids are reading. Okay, so I am actually starting with workshop 2 because I am joining. I've already done the first one with my other kids, so I'm starting with 2. When I do this, there's a couple of things that you can do. There's a planning guide, which tells you basically what to do each day and how you want to go about doing it. Okay. All right. Then it tells you basically, what to do in the first day and then what to do next. Okay. If you want to see the big version, you always have to do the PDF. I can tell you that. Okay. Now, the bad part about this is that you have to keep going back each time. There's no back button here. So that's the only really not great part about Read 180 when the digital ones. They also have printable lesson plans that you can look at. But when you open this, it's going to basically tell you what to do. The first one is the anchor video. So this is the lessons. If you look at your book, each one of these is your lesson. So when you open this right here, it's going to have a couple of things for you. This is the page that the kids see. Absolutely. Okay. And you can do this to make it bigger if you want to, like this, or make it smaller. You can also do the double page. You can do the share display, which makes it bigger, and then you can do the markup and the zoom. When you click on this, it basically tells you what the objectives are. So those are your objectives right there. It gives you some background knowledge. This is where you access the video right here. These are your vocabulary words that they are going to go over. This is more than the other vocabulary that you're going to see. Then you have the family engagement part. You have a video podcast if you need to understand how to do something. Okay, you keep going back. And that's got all of that part here. Now, the overview of the lesson is going to give you the do nows. That's the important part that they always want you to start with. So the do nows here are for this one, what do you think we will explore in this workshop? Read the text titles and look at the pages on pages 72 through 75. Now, if I want this to come over here to display, I'm going to go like this, and now it's going to come up here. I can go like this to make it bigger, so that way the kids can actually see it. There's also ones that you can do any one of these as well. Okay. You're going to do the goals. If you have a goal thing for the kids, these are the goals that you're going to be doing. And this is basically a step-by-step process of how to do this. Okay. Then when you go down, there's the video again. So basically, when you're reading the passages, these are all of your questions that you can then put over here and they can actually see them so that you can put them up, the students, okay? All right, so it goes on through and it tells you every single thing to do, okay? All right, so that's the overview of lesson. If I want to come up here, then I'm going to go back to the table of contents and then go back to workshop 2. All right, so I can do anything that I want to. Here's the concept map. Here's the road to success. The one thing I like about the concept map and this one right here is I can do responses. So I can check the responses, and that basically tells the kids what the answers are. So after you go through it, if you want them to, either you can have them copy this down or you want to have them figure out what they think goes in there, and then these are actually the answers and they can see what they want, you can do it that way. Okay. All right. So if I go back to Teacher Central, which again, I'm going to have to come back here. There's a couple of things that I can look at. The data dashboard is going to give you a lot of information. Number one, it's going to give your Lexile based on your reading inventory. Okay, so you can also get the information from here. It just doesn't tell you, it tells you what the expected growth is. So this is what they are expected to get at the end of the year. Okay, you also get to the Read 180 student application. This basically tells you it's got a couple of buttons. The first one has the level that they're at. The higher the level, that means they're going in at a higher area into Read 180 because of their score. So those students that you see at the 6s and the 5s here, they're more than likely going to exit out of Read 180 this year. Okay, those of you that are in the 1s and 2s, yeah, not so much. 4s and 3s, we got to work with them. Okay, they're kind of like in the middle. Okay, it also tells you how many words they've read in the independent reading. So as you can see, Gabe right here has read 4,539 words since he started his book, which is pretty good. Okay. All right. Then you have your, when you go through here, you have implementation. This tells you how many sessions they've had, how many segments they've completed, the time they've spent on it, the average session, and how many sessions per week. If you're asking the students to go on 3 times a week, well, Dree's only going on 1 time a week. So that's giving me information that we need to make sure that I need to monitor her a little bit more because she's not going on as much as she's supposed to. All right. Then I go to performance. All right. This is going to tell you the percentage of the zones that they have done and they have completed and what their levels are. Okay. So the Explorer zone, most of them did decently. It's at a 74%. The reading zone, boy, that's one we really need to focus on. Language zone, most of them got this. The word assessment, spelling, and the success zone. And it tells you the first and the second attempt. Okay, second attempt means that they had to go back and they had to do it again. Okay, so the second time they had to go back and do it, I got a 94%. So that means that they're actually, whatever they missed the first time, most of them ended up getting it correct the second time. Okay, and then you have the daily report. All right, the daily report, I always go to this and it makes it so it's the first day. It tells me when I'm asking students that they need to be on this session, I can go to this daily report and say, so-and-so, you are not logged on yet. And then it tells me how many minutes they actually spent on it for that day. Okay, so that's really important information. All right, for you. All right, so this is the data dashboard, which is very important. Then you have independent reading. If you click on the independent reading, you're going to be able to see basically 2 books total have been read. And it basically tells you the words read, the quiz points that they ended up getting, their score, and then their quiz rate. It also tells you the breakdown of nonfiction and fiction. Now, I tell you that Nia ended up taking a quiz, but she got a 50% on it. So it's not going to count those words that she read because she wasn't successful in them. Some of this other stuff that we can go over is once we end up going through everything. All right, teacher tools. All right, assignment board is really important. All right, the assignment board, in order to do the interim assessments and the workshop 1 assessment, you're going to need this, okay? So if I wanted them to do workshop 1 assessment interim, so it's halfway through so I can see where their skills are, and then the end of the workshop, this is where I'm going to start. Okay, so I would have to click on this, and then I would have to click on which one that I want. I can view the ones that I want by the PDF. So if you have a student that you need to read aloud to and needs paper copies, this is the way you do it. You can give the kids all the same level, or you can pick which one they have, and then you press assign. When you press assign, it shows up on the kids' dashboard and they know they have to do it. Okay. During your Read 180, when they are doing the student application, there's a whole bunch of activities that they have to do. They're all here. So a fluency check, you can actually listen to the student reading. You play this. It tells you how many words that they got right. So he ended up getting 122 words correct. And then basically based on how he's reading, I can grade him on the expression, accuracy, phrasing, and overall score. Okay. All right. Then when I want to go back to teacher tools, the fluency checks, here's the writing zone. Okay, so this right here is argument writing. This is something that the student had to do. So this is what this student wrote about should schools make everyone take ballet classes. So I can look at this. I can grade it for spelling, tiered words, and sentence fragments, because that is basically what she was being taught. And then I score it and then save it. And then you also have Gabe did the quick writes. So basically this was from the independent reading that he did. So one question, he didn't answer that one. He didn't answer this one, didn't answer this one, but he answered this one, okay? So this is how he answered this question. So I can also use that as a grade as well. Okay, I think that's all that my students have done so far. All right, so that's all that you're going to see here, but it's a really important tool. If I go back here, I can do the Groupinator, which is a launch tool. So if I need to put kids into groups, I want to put them into 4 groups. I want to do it based on reading comprehension, or I can do the checkpoint. So I can do the workshop interim. Maybe I want to do that one, but I want to do it reading comprehension today. I do next, and it automatically puts the kids in groups. If I do not want to, then if I want to move the kids, I can also move them over here. Okay, but it just kind of gives me a very visual about where the kids are based on their comprehension key. And this is from the Lexile group, plus it's from all of the student application activities that they're doing and all of the independent reading. Okay, the bookshelf. This is where you are going to find any of the books that are here. I can go to my bookshelf that I've already added. This is where you can actually see what the book is. And when you go to this one, this is what I do. I usually click on this. It tells me what the book looks like. When I go to activities, this is what I like. It's got the graphic organizer. I print the graphic organizer out for every single book that my students are reading, and I hand it to them right when they tell me they're starting a new book. I do have an independent reading log that I can give you that I use. It's not the one that Read 180 gives you, but I like it. And so that way they let me know what they are actually reading. And I have them fill this out. It helps them with the questions at the end, the quiz. It also helps them with the quick writes. Okay. All right. So again, I come back here to Teacher Central. All right, and then I go to resources. The resources is where you're going to find everything that you need to print out. Okay, so I'm doing workshops 1 through 6. I'm doing number 2, so I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to say, here's the anchor video that I want. What do I want? Let's say that I want graphic or main idea. Maybe I want to see if there's any main idea in this workshop. So when I do main idea, there's all of these that have ideas for main idea. So I can click on this one right here. I do the PDF. I can actually see it. It gives me detailed lessons on what I want. If you have a substitute for the day, print it out and tell them to do this. That's what I use it for. Okay. It also has the instruction pages, but then it also has, go back. It also has the annotated graphic organizer. So here's the graphic organizer right here. Okay. All right. So all of that is going to be there. The student components, here's the graphic organizer that they can actually use. This is in their book, but let's say that you need a student that needs a copy, it's right here. Okay, also, if I want to view resources, let's say that I want the student application. There is actually something here that you can use. You can spend hours and hours, believe me, doing this, okay? This right here is what I use with my kids. It's basically a checklist to let them know that I'm paying attention to what they're doing. So this is the Explore Zone, Reading Zone, Language Zone, and then it goes to the other ones as well. So if I do the PDF, I can actually see it. Okay, and it goes all the way down to the different zones. I'm going to download this. I'm going to download it so I can see that it goes to Fluency Writing and Success Zone. It basically tells me, what did you do on Monday? Did you watch the video? Did you do the word wall? What did you do on Tuesday? Which one of these? I always tell the students, you need to finish one before you start the other. Sometimes they will let them go ahead. They will. The program will. That's one thing that we have complained about. But this is also keeping them on track. If they don't have everything checked, you can also go through here and check that as well. So on that data dashboard, when you look at the Explore Zone, if they have checked that they did all of this on Monday, you go and check on Monday, they haven't done any of it, then you're asking them, what are they doing? You know, I tell my students, if you do this correctly and you turn this in, this is a good 100. Basic 100 that you are following through, and you're giving me what you need to be doing. Okay. All right. That's basically a good wrap of how to work this. Let me know if you have any other questions.